Hello everyone, this is my brain model project for Mr. Fortune Psychology 1 class. I'm going to start off by describing the two hemispheres of the brain. It is divided by the longitudinal fissure. It is not actually separated, there's just an indent, and they're connected again by the corpus callosum right here. I'm going to go ahead and go into detail about the four major lobes. Here is the frontal, parietal, occipital, and the temporal. These two areas right here is the Broca's area and the Wernicke's area. If the Broca's area is damaged, then people have trouble speaking. They can understand and comprehend speech, they just have a hard time getting it out there. And for the Wernicke's area, it's the opposite. They can speak fine, but the quality and sense of their speech isn't as great. So going into the frontal lobe, this area is in charge of personality and behavior, motor functions, and it's kind of like the executive lobe. The parietal lobe is the sensory processing. It's also where the somatosensory cortex is located. Right here, it's where you feel all of your senses, like your hands, your fingers, your tongue. Also right here is the primary motor cortex region. It's where when signals are sent up from your spinal cord, it goes through the hindbrain, and then it gets sent here to be processed, and then it goes back down into your body. I'll go more into detail about the hindbrain further in the video. The occipital lobe is where you get your visual information from. This is the front of your brain, and it comes all the way back and it gets processed in the occipital lobe. This is where color, shape, and motion, visual memory, and storing and retrieving comes from. The temporal lobe is the auditory processing system, where speech, perception, sound recognition, and memory, it's a vital role in memory and forming and retrieving memories. It's also where you process language and language comprehension and production. So coming into the limbic system and the brainstem and hindbrain, I'm going to go ahead and start with the limbic system. It's a bunch of structures in here, and it regulates emotional and behavioral functions, and the processing of memories. So there's the amygdala, hippocampus, thalamus, and hypothalamus. These are all the major functions for responding to stress. And now we have the brainstem and the hindbrain. This is the cerebellum. This is the hindbrain, and it's composed of three parts, which is the midbrain, pons, and the medulla. This is all vital and essential functions like balance, sensory information, and motor movements. This is where all of that comes from. Another thing to mention is the gyri and succuli. So the succuli, singular, is the divots inside the brain which create the gyri, the things popping out. And then another thing to mention is the auditory gyrus. It should be along here. So here we have the motor one. On the other side for the parietal lobe is the somatosensory, and then here is the auditory. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.